What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome back for some more Fire Emblem Heroes, and this is gonna be my Forma building guide for this month's Hall of Forms, featuring the summer versions of Laegjarn, Laevatein, Gunnthra, and Helbindi. I'll be going over the best builds and the best skills that you can get on these units to get the most out of your Forma Soul, and I'll also be explaining why you should be getting those skills. If you have any doubt regarding Forma Souls and how this process functions, I do have a comprehensive guide in the description. And last month we did get a Hall of Forms update where you can get 2 passive skills if you play on infernal floors. Be sure to do that if you want to filter out all of these non-240 SP skills which are mostly undesirable. These are the new skills which are going to be added to this Hall of Forms because New York Kaiser was the last added Grail unit. So these 12 new skills are going to be there, and a lot of these are actually going to be used on the builds of these units. So this Hall of Forms is mainly for the people who are big fans of these characters and they just want to get the premium skills on them, because outside of that, as a one-off copy for a free-to-play player, these units are not going to be doing anything too extraordinary in the combat itself. So let us begin with Summer Laegjarn. She is easily the best unit out of this entire batch because of having the most potential, as she's going to be getting a weapon refine sometime later this year. If the pattern for the seasonal refines keeps up, then she's going to be getting a refine sometime in August, but at worst, it is going to be happening later this year. So she could become a really nice unit if she gets a solid weapon refine, but as it stands right now, she has got a preferred weapon which has got dive bomb built into it, and this is definitely pretty great for freeing up her slot B skill so that she can maybe run a trace skill. So if you're a big Laegjarn fan and if you think that her weapon refine is going to be justifying the usage to you, then you can definitely try and get some premium skills on her. So she already comes with her preferred weapon, and you can just try and get some premium blue tome just for fun and aesthetic. So Flora Guide Plus and Drifting Grace Plus are your best options, but still if you don't really get them, do not really stress too much because at the end of the day, she's going to be using her preferred weapon. This is just for the aesthetic and because you can get this weapon, so you might as well try. You can try and run attack speed catch 4 in her slot A, and that is going to be giving her the most offenses, and with this kind of playstyle and the preferred weapon that she has got, I feel like just maximizing her offenses with attack speed catch 4, speed resistance Fortrace, and speed resistance rain is the best way to go around building her up. So these are the best skill options that you can have on her, but if you do not get attack speed catch 4, then attack speed unity or life and death 4 are some of the options which you can try and get. A rain skill is always going to be really nice and consistent for any kind of flyer, but if you don't get lucky, then you can also try and get the menace skill, which can give her the visible buffs, but overall rain skills are going to be useful for her most of the time than the menace skills. So Laegjarn's build options are pretty straightforward, just stack up the offenses, and range flyers as it is do not have too many options. Next up we have got Summer Gunnthra, and she is a Dagger Cavalier, and that is not too nice. Just after we have got Dean, who pretty much dunks on her in every single stat. The only advantage of Gunnthra is that she's got lower HP than Dean, so she can actually fall into the Wings of Mercy range of her allies a bit faster, but Dean is available in the Grail pool and can be merged up. Another advantage of Gunnthra is that whenever you get a Forma unit, they do come with their base skills. So she has got Disarm Trap in her base kit, which means that you can actually build her up for Ether Raid's offense and not really have to fodder a Disarm Trap to her. And Ether Raid's exclusive and arena exclusive skills like Disarm Trap or the dual skills are never available in the Hall of Form skill pool. So that's why when you get a unit with Disarm Trap natively, you can pretty much tailor them for Ether Raid's offense usage, but still not everyone cares about Ether Raid's offense. So in that case, again, she doesn't really stand out much compared to Dean, and she needs a big overhaul to her entire kit because Disarm Trap is pretty much the best skill that she has right now. So let's take a look at some of her premium options. Courtly Fan stands as a really amazing premium option which can provide you with partial null follow-up, and you can actually choose to run Windsweep after you get her as a Forma unit, so that's definitely an option that Courtly Fan opens up. The other premium daggers are going to be Broadly Fan or Pumpkin in a Box, but overall Courtly Fan is really good for the offensive power, and attack speed catch 4 does synergize pretty well with the innate debuffs of her dagger, and it does give you the most offenses, so you can definitely try and get that. But if you cannot get it, then Swift Sparrow, Attack Speed Push, or Fury 4 are also the other options that you can try and run on her slot A. A trace skill is amazing on her even if you're going to be running Windsweep or Disarm Trap later on, so no reason not to get this premium skill. For her slot C, her options are pretty flexible. You can try and run Attack Speed Menace or even have Fatal Smoke, it's really up to you. And Lethality has been available since last Hall of Forms, so you can try and get that as an expensive special for Gunnthra. If at any point after getting her as a Forma unit, you want to run a quick dagger build, then lethality could be useful, but Ruptured Sky is also an option if you just want a low cooldown special. So this is pretty much the general purpose build for Gunnthra if you want to use her with premium skills, but if you want to really specialize her usage for Aether Raid's offense, then this is the build which you can go for. So this build has to use Fury 4, Pumpkin in a Box, and Fury 3, Sacred Seal to get Fury 10 so that Gunnthra can damage herself for 20 HP after every combat. So after 2 combats, she's going to be losing 40 HP, which is going to be enabling Wings of Mercy allies like Wings of Mercy Dancers and Gale Force allies for your team. So this is something that you could do if you really care about building up a Gale Force team for Aether Raid's offense and you really like Gunnthra as a unit, then she could be the initiator right there with Disarm Trap that is present in her base kit. So even if you get the merges on her or give her a lot of Dragon Flowers, she's still going to be able to fall into the Wings of Mercy range after 2 combats, and that's why Pumpkin in a Box is a really important part of this build. So it's a must-have weapon if you want to use her for the Aether Raid's offense. And even though we're going to be running Disarm Trap, still just snag the Trace skill, it doesn't really hurt. And Fatal Smoke is also a pretty nice option for Slotsy. Ideally, she wants to run Savage Blow for Aether Raid's offense build, but you might as well get a premium skill here. It's not often that we get units with Disarm Trap in Hollow Forms, so if you really care about Aether Raid's offense with a Gale Force strategy, then she could be used, but there are definitely other ways of setting up Gale Force strategy as it is. Summer Laevatein is a green mage flyer, and unfortunately for her, she doesn't have a preferred weapon like her sister, and we have already got Bridal Sanaki and Brave Micaiah as green mage flyers in these hollow forms, which pretty much fit into that archetype of a slow but hard-hitting flying green mage. Laevatein does have more defense than them, but still they have got their preferred weapons, so they can stand out. But if you really like her, then here are some of the premium options that you can run on her. So the best weapon for her is going to be Snow Globe Plus and Plegian Torch. It really depends on your playstyle. If you want to stay near your allies, then Snow Globe Plus is the weapon for you. But if you want to have a solo playstyle with the solo condition of Plegian Torch, then you can definitely go with that. Amity Blooms Plus is also an option, but I do prefer these 2 weapons because of the fact that they can help you with more damage output. So the Snow Globe Plus can provide you with the attack resistance unity which is built into it, and we can just double down on this effect by running attack defense unity on her slot A. Keep in mind that the unity skills do actually stack up, so if she gets any kind of attack debuff on herself, she can hit extremely hard. And with the defense unity, she can basically cover all 3 of her main stats against the debuffs. So that's why this is a really nice option if you're going with Snow Globe. Attack resistance unity is also an option here, but I do like the defense unity just to cover all 3 of her stats. You have to run the Fortress skill here because range flyers don't really have many options, and then you can just stack up the debuffs here with attack resistance rain, which is the perfect Slotsy skill for her. Now if you want to go with the Plegian Torch route, then you want to run a Menace skill so that it has got good synergy with the Plegian Torch. But if you can afford to have the other debuff support from your team, then attack resistance rain is always good on any kind of flyer. With this Plegian Torch build, you can just maximize on your offenses by running a Cat skill in her slot A, which is going to be active in both phases. Solo skill is also an option because it does synergize with Plegian Torch, but I do like the other 2 skills much better on her. The final unit of this batch is going to be Summer Helbindi, who's a sword infantry unit. He does have this really min-max stat line with low speed and high mixed bulk, so he can definitely function as a bulky enemy phase tank, but unfortunately he does have competition from a unit in the Grail pool just like Gunnthra, and in this case, this Grail pool unit does have a preferred weapon. So Nemesis does have Dark Creator's Sword, and even though it's not the best preferred weapon, it's still something, and he's going to be due for a weapon refine eventually down the line, and that preferred weapon can still give him the damage reduction and help him with tanking, whereas Helbindi has got lower attack and also does not have a preferred weapon, so that's a bit unfortunate for him. But if you really like Helbindi, and honestly I don't blame you, Helbindi is definitely a lot more likable, then here are the best premium options that you can run on him. So Winter Rapier did get added into the skill pool, and I'm really happy that it did because it is pretty much his best option here in my opinion. There are also other premium swords that you can run on him, like Unbound Blade or Pledged Blade, but I would say that Unbound Blade is probably going to end up in the 3-star 4-star pool, just like its Lance version and the Axe version. And Pledged Blade pretty much gives you the special acceleration on the opponent's hits, and you can easily run Steady Breath Sacred Seal. What you cannot really run in the Sacred Seal is definitely the Unity effect, which Winter Rapier provides. So it has got attack defense unity built into it, which is really perfect because you can just get the Sturdy Stance 3 in a slot A and get both unity effect as well as the guard effect with this weapon and the slot A skill. Now unfortunately for his slot B, he doesn't really have too many options because of being a slow infantry unit. Null follow-up, all of the damage reduction skills are pretty much out of the window, so that's why Lull attack defense is pretty much his best option. And then for his slot C, you can either go with a joint drive skill or maybe with a menace skill depending on whichever one you get. Attack defense menace is pretty nice here because he can just increase his visible attack, and that way he can just get targeted by chill debuffs from chill attack and stuff like that, and make use of the unity effect present in his weapon. So this is something that you could do if you want to make him into a melee tank. But if you want him to use his resistance productively and bait out range opponents, then you can definitely choose to go with distance stance for his slot A and just have resistance refine on your weapon. So again, this weapon is going to be helping him get the unity effect, but unfortunately by running distance stance, you're going to be losing out on the guard effect. And with how slow Helbindi is, he's pretty much going to get doubled by most opponents. So this is definitely a build I would recommend to people who want to invest a bit more into Helbindi with dragon flowers, with merges and stuff like that, because he definitely appreciates every single stat that he can get for this kind of distance stance build. And for his slots, you could go with Joint Distant Guard, which is a really rare skill, and it does give you extra resistance and defense for taking on the range opponents, so definitely helps with tanking, but other joint drive skills can also work if you get them. The next month's Hall of Forms is going to be having Arcania games, and this is my expectation and speculation for that batch. I feel like Summer Tiki does have a pretty good chance because she did get a weapon refine, and many times they do put these kinds of seasonal units in Hall of Forms which have recently got a refine, like Bridal Tarja and Bridal Sanaki for example. And Ninja Navarre is a 5-star lock seasonal unit, so he definitely fits into the criteria of Hall of Forms. We did get Young Minerva last time in the Hall of Forms, so this time I think Plegian Male Chris could be an option. And always in Hall of Forms, they're going to be having at least one mage unit so that you can have some magical damage output. And the pool for that is definitely pretty narrow because they've already used up a lot of the mage units from Arcania games in previous Hall of Forms. So I think Zane and Garnef are pretty much going to be the two main options. And Zane is a 4-star focus, so I can see them going with that. So the top row is definitely a lot more likely. And the bottom row does have Garnef. Like I said, they need to have a mage in these lineups, and then they have put a lot of villains in Hall of Forms lineup as well. Like Ashnard was present in the Path of Radiance Hall of Forms, and Garnef here is going to be due for a weapon refine this year, so he could appear in Hall of Forms. And then Spring Minerva could also be there as another seasonal unit. Unfortunately, the green pool is really thin this time, so if they put Garnef and Spring Minerva, then I feel like the third unit, the green unit, is probably not going to be Plegian Male Chris. It could be Nagi, and Nagi is also due for a weapon refine. She's a really good far save unit, but again, Duochrome just got released, who just absolutely destroys her. I would definitely love to get the second lineup, but it is a lot more unlikely. And for the colorless, they mainly have options of Zane, Summerlint, and Clarice, I would say. Summerlint definitely has more chances because they usually try and put units which they've given out for free as ephemera manuals before, like Summer Helbindi, for example, was given out in last year's June. So Summerlint could also be there because of that reasoning. So this is my speculation. Come back to this video next month to see if I was right or wrong. So I hope you all enjoyed this Forma guide. If you did, then make sure to share this video with your friends who are trying to build up any of these Forma units. And if you enjoyed, then make sure to leave a like and a comment. Helps me tremendously. And if you really enjoyed, you could always support me directly by using super thanks or by becoming a YouTube member. And for more FEH videos, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because I wish YouTube sub boxes would show my videos as many times as we got seasonal units and Hall of Forms. So with that said, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.